Good morning, boys and girls. Today for reading, we are going to look over one of the texts that we've read already, which was called Digging for Dinos. So readers, over the year, you have gotten so good at finding answers to questions you have had about your books. Sometimes you have a question and you take a moment to reread to have clarity, or other times you find that you have to hold the question in your mind and read on, and then the question gets answered. All the time, the questions you were wondering about had the answers right there in the books. The great thing is, when you were working on this, I was able to watch and I could figure out a tip that could really help you. On the day of the test, teachers like me aren't allowed to give you tips, but the test is still a few weeks away. So for now, it's totally fair to help you. The tip is that often on the test, the answers to the questions are right there in the passage, just like your books. Today I want to teach you that when the test makers ask you a question, some of the time the answer is right there. So let's try a question together, and I'll give you hints about how you can go about finding the answers. So here's our passage, Digging for Dinos. Let me pull up the question that I want us to focus on, and I want you to watch me because you're going to have to do this for your assignment later. So this says in paragraphs 2 and 3, you learn that paleontologists, notice I'm going to stop. I'm not even going to read the answers. In paragraphs 2 and 3, you learn that paleontologists, so it looks like I'm trying to figure out what paleontologists do. Now, once you've read the question, you don't look at the answers yet, you've read the question, you are then going to go back into the section it's telling you to help find an answer for yourself. You're going to make your own answer. So I'm going to jump back to paragraph 2 and 3, and I need to figure out what a paleontologist is, or what they do. So I'm going to reread that section now. But the real dig wasn't at all what he expected. For starters, he wasn't even digging. No shovels, Dave, the paleontologist in charge, told them. Any dinosaur bones buried here should be within a couple of feet of the surface. We don't want to risk clunking around and breaking them. Then he handed out ice picks and paintbrushes and showed everyone how to chip and brush away sand and dirt, slowly and carefully, a little bit at a time. The most important thing is knowing where to look, Dave said. Some rocks aren't old enough to have dinosaur bones. Other rocks are too old. We've studied this area before and found lots of fossils, so I'm hopeful you'll find some too. So I did see the word paleontologist here, so now I need to figure out from this chapter what a paleontologist does. So I did read about how they might use ice picks and paintbrushes, and they'll chip and brush away sand and dirt, it looks like, looking for dinosaur bones, it says here. And then it talks about how it talks again here about how they are looking for dinosaur bones in rock. So I'm thinking that a paleontologist is someone who looks for dinosaur bones. So now that I've come up with my own answer on what a paleontologist does, notice I came up with my own answer first. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump back to my possible answers, and I'm going to read them. So it says, in paragraphs 2 and 3, you learn that paleontologists, A, take people on dinosaur digs, B, look for dinosaur bones, C, take photos, draw pictures, make charts, and keep field notes, or D, look for new creatures. So my answer talked about how paleontologists look for dinosaur bones, and now I'm going to look for an answer that's the most similar to the one I came up with. So yes, it talked about dinosaur digs, but it doesn't talk about looking for dinosaur bones. But if I go to B, this answer, B, matches the answer I came up with on my own the closest. So my answer for this question would be B. I want you to notice, though, how I went about getting this answer. I've already read Digging for Dinos, so first you need to read the passage. Then you need to read just the question. Then I jumped to the right part in the text. So this told me to go to paragraphs 2 and 3. So notice I went back and jumped to paragraphs 2 and 3. Then I reread that part. I thought of an answer on my own, and then I went back to the test to see if one of their answers was a lot like mine. So today for classwork, you are going to do the same thing. So here is your assignment, It says, today you learned when a test maker asks you a question, sometimes the answer is right there, just like it was in the one I did. Today I want you to reread Digging for Dinos and answer the following question. Remember, when answering a question, you are doing the following: reading the passage, read the question, jump to the right part of the text, reread the part, think of an answer, and I went back to the test to see if one of the answers was a lot like mine. Be sure to share your response. So here's the question you need to answer. Based on paragraph 13, what did Benny find? Follow the steps above. And then your response, you're going to type up here, and it says, tell me your answer and how you arrived at your answer. So I'm going to put this a little bit bigger. Be sure to send me your responses.